Now we have AI looking at it. It's finding tumors that the radiologist wouldn't find.
Welcome back to Made in Canada, the podcast where we sit down with inspiring Canadians to hear their stories, lessons learned, and insight on building their careers, communities, and businesses across Canada. Today we're joined by Brenda Beckedorf, a leader in innovation, entrepreneurship, and artificial intelligence. Brenda currently serves as the CEO of Applied Intelligence Advisory Group and Vice Chair of Startup Canada, where she works with organizations, entrepreneurs, and communities to help shape the future of innovation in Canada. Brenda, welcome to Made in Canada podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to have this
Of
conversation.
course. welcome. So my first question is, many people see the titles and accomplishments, and you probably know that. But what kind of struggle or journey? What was your journey like?
Ooh, I have had a journey. So I'm from New Brunswick.
Oh,
And I was going through a divorce and had 4 young children, and my company job transferred me to Calgary. And when I got here, I recognized after a couple years that there was no opportunity in that job to grow anywhere. And
What
I
was it?
want it was a marketing job.
was a marketing job. Oh.
Yeah, so it had a cap unless I moved to Toronto, and I didn't want to move to Toronto. We finally got my family settled here. They were happy and everything. So I went to a recruiter and I said, here's the list of things I can do. Put me in front of someone. Help me out here. And so she put me in front of this very large IT firm who was hiring their very first business development person. So I walked into this interview. It was a 3-hour interview.
Oh my god.
I had no IT background. I had no energy background, which was their main client. And I spent 3 hours with the COO convincing him that he should give me the job, and he did. And I spent 8 years there. And I grew from being a business development person after the first 6 months into becoming the director of business development for Canada. And I helped grow that organization from 4 cities to across Canada. And part of my role was working with the partners, which are Microsoft, Cisco, people like that. And I got to do project work with them. And I think that was my pivotal time where I recognized that technology could really empower a company and change the direction. And so that's what got me into tech. Yeah. So big obstacle,
Yeah.
but overcame it. It was really scary. I have to say, arriving in Calgary at the airport, my furniture wasn't arriving for a few days. My car wasn't arriving. And I had 4 little kids with backpacks with sleeping bags and everything going, I don't know a soul here. I don't know where anything is.
That's the beauty of starting over, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of starting over. You mentioned earlier working with tech. What businesses do you work with?
So in the role I'm in today, I work with traditional companies, which is a large amount of them. And they're the ones that don't tend to be coming out to the events. They don't tend to be on social media, LinkedIn and all that. They tend to be heads down doing their job. Manufacturing, construction, energy, health, you name it. What I find, my average company would be between 10 million and 100 million. And they've grown the company successfully for, say, 30, 40 years. Senior leadership tends to be on the point where they'll be retiring in the next 5 years. They haven't spent money on technology, but they're starting to realize to be competitive against their other competitors that they need to do something, but they're not really sure what that looks like. And so that's what my job is I would say a large part of it is trust. I need to go in and spend time with them and get them comfortable with technology. Before we even go down, like, what are we fixing? We just need to understand what it is we could do.
That's qualifications.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more of B2B sales. Would you agree?
It is B2B.
It is
all the
B2B,
way.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard
very much.
B2B was like very, very different. It's not like a B2C consumer.
No,
Like, it's
very
step by
different.
step.
Very step by step. And there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, you can come work with us. Like, we'll do AI in your company. And it's not reaching these people because there's no way for them, if you don't know anything about artificial intelligence or technology, and you got 10 people in front of you, how do you choose which one? It's a lot. I know nothing about cars. So when a mechanic tells me something, I have to trust them on face value. I got 10 mechanics there all telling me 10 different things. I'm really hooped. So, that's where I think it's really important. So I tend to go in and do corporate workshops. So I'll spend 2 or 3 hours and I'll teach them chat, I'll teach them Claude, and I'll teach them Gamma. And I teach them how to do proper prompts. And so by writing a little script, and they can see what the script will show like in chat, but then they take it over to Claude and they're going, oh my gosh, it's created this amazing template that I can actually use.
Yeah.
And then I take it over to Gamma, and all of a sudden they've got a PowerPoint or a document. All of this is taken literally seconds. And it's at a quality level that would take hours normally. And so when they see how easy it is to bounce between the different tools, I think it becomes easier for them to go, okay, yes, I could do something with this. And then what we usually do, I work with a lot of partners. I don't try to be all. So I have technical partners, I have financial partners, I have change management partners, because people are very scared.
Yeah.
And you've got to manage the employees just as much as the technology. And so I go in and I bring in a partner, and I have a number of them. So I look at what the needs are of each client. And then we go in and we audit what's going on. And a lot of times we're going, the technology itself needs to be fixed. We need to put some time in this. Your Excel sheets are taking, like, they're not talking to each other. You can't get the data out. You need to quote for something. And even though you've got 30 years of data there to do a quote, it takes you 2 weeks because you don't know how to manipulate it.
Was it more of like an older software?
All of that. Like, they haven't, you think about it, these are people who are probably still stuck on their iPhone 6, right? And we're trying to get them up to 17.
Yeah, 17,
and
yeah.
they're like, but how? And, oh, by the way, we've never put technology in our budget. And so now you got to help them figure that out too.
Wow.
And it's a whole mindset change of, you need to start looking at maybe not hiring so many people, but taking that money you might have done for hiring people and moving it over into technology.
Yes.
And one of the things, because people are so fearful about their jobs, and that is, I always try to level set it with, we're going to help you increase your productivity, but we're going to keep the same head count. So your revenue is going to go up, your productivity is going to go up, but we're not changing the people. We're going to educate them on how to use the tools, but we're not going to get rid of anybody. And that calms a lot of things down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Avoids a lot of.
Yep.
No, you
Very
don't want to do
terrified
that. Yeah.
people when you start walking
Very
in there.
terrified
and-
people. That's
yeah.
true. Did you always see yourself working the innovation and technology?
No, I had never. I mean, I'm the least geeky person in my family. I have 2 sons that are software developers. I would never have thought myself in tech, and my kids find it quite hilarious that I am in tech.
Really?
But again, ended up in that role as a business development, and recognize how empowering it was to use the technology.
What was the biggest lesson that you've learned all throughout, though?
I love storytelling. So I had a situation where I'm working with a partner, and I won't name them, but they're very large, international partner.
Yep.
And they were working with a school in a remote area. And that school didn't have a doctor in their community. But a lot of the children did have things like fetal alcohol, ADD, ODD, OCD, all this stuff, but nobody to diagnose them. So it was very disruptive in the school. So this partner helped us work with the Children's Hospital in Toronto, and through video conferencing in a private room, these children got their diagnosis, and then the Children's Hospital could send the medication to the school directly, and the teachers could help with the medication. It didn't go home. It stayed within the
Yeah,
school
stayed
to
within.
support the children. And so counseling could be set up that way and everything. And I'm like, what an amazing way to solve a problem. And again, it was a technology back end, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
AI seems to be everywhere. Everybody knows
Yep.
that ChatGPT or DeepSeek and everything.
Yeah.
Well, what's the misconception people have about AI right now?
I would say they're underestimating what it's going to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think everybody's playing with it, and there are those who are full on in it.
Yes.
But I think people are still dabbling, and they're going, oh, I'm going to play in chat and it's going to fix my email or my social media. But it's not actually ingrained into their whole company, changing everything.
Why is that?
I think lack of knowledge is still a big thing. There is a cost factor to it. I would say the next 5 years is going to be at a different revolutionary level, and I don't think our world is quite ready for it.
Explain, explain.
Um, so I do a lot of following of all the big players that are in there,
Yep.
and a lot of them are saying that as AI and automation, robotics, quantum all takes off, we're going to see more and more jobs like resolved, like all the administrative work goes away, but then it goes to another level. So I'll use this as an example. You go in, get an X-ray ultrasound.
Okay.
Somewhere along the line in the next couple of weeks, it'll show up in your Alberta health records. Now we have AI looking at it. It's finding tumors that the radiologist wouldn't find.
No way.
It can go to that level. And it, because it doesn't get tired and have naps or anything or go home at the end of the
Keeps going,
day,
yeah.
it's producing at a different level. So instead of taking 2 weeks to get that, you're getting it in an hour. But now we don't need all these radiologists. We need some, because humans should always overview
Yes.
what's going on, but we don't need the same level. So our expectations are going to be things are going to happen faster. But if every area of your life suddenly starts to move at a faster pace, then there is going to be a point where AI can do 80% of the work in the company
Yes.
between automation and robotics. So then what is the people there for? And I think we don't know. I would say that when we went from typewriter to internet, it took us a long time to
did, yeah.
embrace the internet. We've actually been on the AI journey for about 40 years. But really, yeah, they've been playing for it with it a lot
What?
longer.
Oh, I thought it was just like a couple of years ago. Like, oh my gosh, AI.
You know what? It's because of ChatGPT. That's where we all thought it started, but it's been going on for years.
Really?
And now we're embracing it in our day-to-day life. But the companies that are really taking it on are doing like incredible things and not needing, like, we used to always say, oh yeah, you made 10 million, your company's valued at 10 million, you have 100 employees. That's not going to be the number anymore. It's going to be, my company's valued at 10 million and I have 5 people working for me, because AI and the technology can do it. So it brings up a lot of questions about young people and what jobs they're going to have.
Yeah. I want to get into that. Is it going to replace jobs?
It's going to change jobs.
Change jobs? In what
Jobs
way?
are not going to be the same, because all the grunt stuff, the administrative stuff is going to be gone. But like, let's talk about cancer. We have how many researchers and dollars going into that, but is the Alberta cancer researchers talking to the ones down in Boston or in Europe? Probably not.
Yeah, no.
And now AI is coming along and grabbing the information from Boston, Europe, and Canada and bringing it all together. And why wouldn't it figure it out? I'll use this because I love this analogy. I follow this guy named Mo, who used to be Google.
Okay.
He was one of the senior leaders there, and he's gone out on his own. He was saying when they tested AI, when Chat came out, so Chat 3 point whatever, it was doing all the university stat tests and all the different tests you can do out there. And it came back with an IQ, I think it was, oh gosh, the same as Elon Musk. So I think 162, I think they were saying. That was back 3 years ago. Every 5 months, it grows and becomes bigger and better.
By how much?
So today they're saying its IQ is at 600.
That is crazy.
So when you start thinking about that, you have a super genius that you can use at your fingertips if you can figure out how to use it.
That's crazy.
To do things. So when I started I went from a nonprofit to creating my own company.
Yeah.
I sat down and I went into Nana Banana and I created the logo for my company. And then I went into Claude and I scripted out what I wanted on my website, and I threw it over into Lovable for my website. I created 6 pages. And then I went into Jotform and created a chatbot. And then I went into Gamma to create my marketing tools. And the time from start to finish to going live with my company was 30 minutes and $40. There.
What?
Yeah. So I've built websites in my other companies and it costs $80,000 in a year. I did it in 30 minutes for $40. And I'm fully running. That's the difference and the impact that we're going to see consistently.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then you go one more step. Elon Musk is building robots like crazy so we can have house robots to do
Yeah.
all our housework and carry our groceries and do all that. So he's doing 100,000 this year. His goal is within the next couple of years, 1 million. So the idea is that in the next 5 to 10 years, everybody will have a household robot to do the stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's like one of the video games I used to play. Literally.
I'm going back and dating myself here, but the Jetsons all the way here, right? I mean, we do have actual airplanes now, that little helicopters that fold up that you can fly autonomously, and they are talking in our own city of putting park and go, so you can go to it, jump in the little airplane, hover up, and go to Edmonton and be there in 30 minutes. We are, and we're not far off.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
That's pretty close.
It's crazy. Yeah, sorry. What?
That's okay. That's okay. If you were a student graduating today, let's say, how would you prepare for an AI-driven world? That's a very good question.
It's a hard one. I work with a lot of post-secondaries,
Yep.
and they're all trying to figure out how to define and where to go. I think it's challenging, and I think doing research is really important. I have a son that's in med school, and by the time he's first year, by the time he's done, the world he's going to go into is dramatically different. And so I look at accountants.
Okay.
Accountants are going to be very different. AI can find fraud and mistakes like crazy. I took one of my documents, my budgets that I had a CFO create for me for my budget. I threw it in AI. It found mistakes, corrected the mistakes, and then gave me everything for the next year, my budget, my P&L, everything. And it took 5 minutes.
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't need an accountant. So where am I going to need an accountant? For strategy and audits.
Yes.
It changes that. So anyone going into a field now needs to do some serious look at what that could be. Because there's going to be a whole lot of jobs disrupted.
How would it work out with like, especially you work with a lot of post-secondary students?
do.
What field do you find the most?
To be honest, trades is going to be. I'm like, trades is a safe place to be these days.
Yeah.
Because we are physically going to need people to build.
Yes.
Getting into anything where you're working in data structures, because we are going to be building data centers. I won't get into the politics of it, but I do know that Alberta will be building a lot of data centers.
Yeah. I heard that they were building, someone in like one of the big entrepreneurs, we're building like a whole AI system up in Grand Prairie. I don't know if you've ever
Grand
heard.
Prairie, I was up at a conference in Grand Prairie last year. They've
my
got
gosh.
one that is going to be definitely built, and they're looking at a couple others.
Isn't it like a huge facility? That's still happening?
True, just did their announcement. I was at their grand announcement like a week ago, and they're building a ton of data centers. And again, a lot of it's around data sovereignty and the fact that we can keep the data in these data centers in Canada. And that's a very big thing with the geopolitical
true.
world we're in now.
That's true. I have one really good question.
Sure.
So, many of our audience are mainly going to be immigrants, right? How would an immigrant be working with AI-driven world?
So I will say, I don't think it matters if you're an immigrant
Okay.
or not. I think everybody has to change their mentality of being educated and always learning. So I do really well watching YouTube videos versus reading. I can read, obviously, and I do read a lot of
Yes.
material, but I find listening to someone on YouTube really relaxing and a good way for me to absorb a lot of information. So when I get up on Saturday and Sunday morning and I actually am not out hiking and I don't have to rush out the door, I'll spend an hour with coffee in bed watching these YouTube videos and just becoming more and more immersed in that world to understand where we're going. I think, and I take a lot of courses. I just finished an AI course for 8 weeks that was very in-depth. I think it's incredibly important for people, students, adults, doesn't matter. You must be always learning now. The world has changed that much. You can't just get a degree and forget and then just go to a job. It isn't going to be like that anymore.
Every day is like with me as well, as if I can't learn anything every day, I feel like I've taken a step back.
Yeah.
So to me, learning is something you want to move forward every day, even
Yes.
just by a little bit. Little, it doesn't have to be related in what you do. It doesn't
Yep.
have to be related in what you think or what you like.
Yep.
Learning improves your daily habits and
Yes.
improves who you are. To be honest with you.
And I think as a student, because you're in that
Yeah.
mode, you're okay.
Yeah.
So I'm an avid hiker. So I'm in the mode of always trying to, like, I go and work out to make sure I'm strong enough to go climb that mountain. And so I'm in that mode. Where I get concerned is people who've been in a job for 20 years and they just have, they're learning because they go to conferences and everything, but they're not in depth learning. And I think we need to change that.
Could you break it down a little bit?
Yeah. Because AI is growing so exponentially, if you're not constantly reading and understanding what a vibe code is or what the newest, because literally daily there are new tools coming out.
Yes.
And once you understand how to use one tool, you should be able to move over to the next tool. And a large portion of them doesn't need a technical background. But you need to be practicing and getting in there and learning all of those things. I would say the next level would be the governance strategy, cybersecurity, all
Yes.
of that stuff needs to be done. So I just came back from a 2-day workshop on cybersecurity. It was very eye-opening.
Explain.
And I've been in tech for a while, and I came out going, oh my gosh. I think the biggest thing I got out of it was that it's not the AI in your current system, it's the AI outside your system. So as a human being, we get ransomware, we get hacked.
Yeah.
When you get hacked in your company, it starts to move through your system. But usually something catches it, hopefully, and then you lock it down. And then obviously the IT folks, cyber folks get to work.
Yeah.
With AI, one, you can buy a device for $200 that allows you to go out and hack. So someone loses their job, they're worried about feeding themselves, their family, keeping a roof over their head. They get scared. They see for $200, they can go buy something to go ransomware some people.
Yep.
It's easy to use. You don't need to be technical, and suddenly we've got an opportunity. That's scary.
That is.
The other thing is AI is quietly weaving through your whole infrastructure of your company, and you don't know it. The average time to figure out that you've been hacked is 260 days. It takes a company that long to realize they've been
very-
hacked because AI is so quietly moving through your system.
Oh my gosh.
Whereas with humans hacking, it's not. It's quicker.
Yeah.
So there's the danger. So if you're an owner or you're in IT or whatever, you need to be educating yourself as to how to get in front of that. Because it is a scary world.
That
with
is very
what
scary. It's like
it
almost
is.
a year.
Yeah.
You don't even know what's happening.
Well, and that's it. Like how much damage is being done to your company while all this is going on. Yeah.
We'll talk about Canada's future right now.
Yeah.
What would you think about AI's Canada's future?
So it's interesting. Just before I came here, Canada, the government just released our policy around AI.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for it. It just came out today. So it's a long read. It's an important read, though, for us to understand what the government is thinking. But government is definitely saying that AI is the future of Canada. And they are putting money into it. They're putting education into it because they recognize that's an important part of what we're going to be doing.
How would that be with businesses like entrepreneurial with AI?
I actually think for entrepreneurs, if you use AI, I'm a good example. I don't need to hire anybody. I have contractors, I have partners, and I have AI tools. I don't have overhead like I would if 5 years ago I had a team of 10. I don't need that team of 10 anymore. I have a couple contractors who can do work for me, but I don't need 10 full-time people anymore.
So would you agree that, I mean, anybody in Canada could pretty much start up their own businesses with
100%.
AI?
And we're seeing that with students. Like I do a lot of
Ooh,
speaking at
really?
different post-secondaries, and I am amazed at how many students are starting this as a side hustle now.
How would the students engage with it?
Because really, if you have a passion about something, to set it up these days with using AI, not hard at all. Like when I start brainstorming about this particular company, I literally went into Claude and created a project around it and said, this is what I'm thinking. And it gave me the pros and cons. It helped me build my business plan. It helped me build out my budget. Like I just sat there and talked to it for a couple hours while it helped me build it.
Yeah.
Like it didn't take that much. And because your overhead's so low, you don't have the same risk factor and need for capital other than feeding yourself and I think this is where it's really critical for businesses when you're competing outside of Canada. We need to increase our productivity. We need to be not so expensive. This is how we're going to do it. AI is going to be that turning point. However, right now, Canada's lagging. Compared to the rest of the world, we are lagging atrociously.
Well, what opportunities do you think right now that people aren't talking about enough?
There is a great big need for people to understand and help people like myself help companies, but there's also strategic work, there's governance, there's cybersecurity, all of that stuff. So there's an opportunity for a young person coming out of school. Cybersecurity isn't going to go away. Can AI do some of it? Yes. But you still need a human being to do
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I am finding interesting is how many people are using passion right now and going, I'm passionate about hiking. So I'm going to set up a hiking group and I'm going to charge for my hiking. And now I do something I'm passionate about and I make money. So I'm seeing people kind of divert into different careers now because of that. I think I think I'm on career number 7 right
Career
now.
number 7.
Yeah.
Oh my
I would say you guys probably 15 careers in your lifetime. You will not stay in any career long term. And my parents did 30 years. They went in, they took the job and they retired at the same job. I'm not doing that and you guys sure as heck won't be doing it.
Why do you think people like nowadays? You think that we'd be doing around 15 careers? Why is that?
Because the world is changing that much. So I have sons who are software developers. They started out in another career, then they moved because of COVID. So one was a commercial electrician. He was a Red Seal commercial electrician.
What trades?
COVID came along, he didn't have a job. So he went through a 6-month course through Manpower to become a software developer. He loves and codes and plays with it anyway, so it was a natural progression. He's now working in software development, making great money, but AI can do software development. So now he's trying to figure out how to iterate the next
how to
level of his
adapt.
career. And he
Yeah.
already knows what he's doing today, he will not be doing in 5 years. So he has to figure out where he's going to go, but that's another career change for
Yeah.
him. So he's gone from an electrician to a software developer to something else coming along. And that's within, say, a 5-year time frame.
Just adaptability. In terms of
You're going to have to keep on doing it, and you're going to have to become educated on what the opportunities are. A lot of research on each of your part to figure out where to go.
What does education mean to you?
Education to me doesn't mean necessarily walking into a school. It's reading, attending events. There's like I was with BDC last week and they were giving us a lot of stats. ICTC, which is our Information Council for Canada, they produce a ton of webinars and newsletters that are all around technology. I read a lot of that stuff. So I think I was in an AI roundtable with the chamber yesterday.
Yeah.
And what was really cool is we had some very large players in the room that billions of dollars of revenue and small players like myself. Everybody's fighting this. Everybody's trying to figure it out. The big players are going, it's harder for us because we have different departments and every department needs different needs. And yet we have to come up with a strategy for AI for 50,000 people.
Yes.
And by the way, it's very expensive to do 50,000 Claudes and Gammas and everything else, right? So there's that big shift there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You mentioned you also work with international stuff, right?
Yeah.
So some of Canada's best talents leaves for the US.
Yeah.
Do you think we're doing enough to keep innovators and entrepreneurs here?
Hell no. we this is an ongoing conversation.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
let's
yeah.
hear about it.
if you go to the US and you are talented, you're starting a company, you're innovative, you will have investors, you will have support, there's jobs there, money there. In Canada, if you have something amazing happening, it's actually easier to go to the US and prove yourself in the US market
Why
and
is
then come
that
back
though?
in Canada, and then Canada will buy from you. We do not buy and test drive on a new idea in Canada. We wait till it's proven elsewhere and then we buy into it.
Why is
We
that?
are we're very cautious, slow
Yeah.
to adopt,
Okay.
and we are not spending the investment dollars on our local community the way we should.
What do you think what should we do to improve on those?
Um, that that's a big question
Yes,
that a
yes.
lot of people are asking right now. Um, I will say it was easier for me to find money from government and investors 5 years ago than it is now. It's actually really hard now to do it.
Really?
And I'm not sure how we're going to fix that. We need more dollars going into startups and early stage companies. There's a ton of programs and support, but there's not enough money. And
Oh,
so that's very challenging, and it's hard to get clients.
it is.
Or get your merchandise, whatever you're selling, solution you're selling, it's hard to get Canadians to buy it.
Oh yeah, I want to talk closely about that too. Entrepreneurs across Canada. Okay.
Hmm.
What is the biggest myth that people believe about starting a business?
That it's easy. It's not. First of all, you don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks.
you don't.
Like a lot of people are
You
going,
don't.
"Oh, I have a great product. Yay, let's go." And I'm like, "You can have the best product in the world, but you got to have someone buy it."
Yeah.
And that is the hardest challenge out there. It really is. And I speak from experience. I have a lot of connections. I have a lot of support, but it's still hard to get that next step and the next step and take it to another level.
So let's say a student wants to do some business.
Yeah.
How would you start it up? How would you start from day one? Right from
Do a lot of research, but then go look at the programs that are available. There are a ton. Like Platform Calgary has amazing amount of programs. The Hunter Hub has a ton of programs. Mount Royal has a scale up programs. SATE's got programs. Like there's a lot out there to support you. Where you got to really think about is how are you going to feed yourself for that first year or two until there's enough revenue coming in.
Perfect, perfect. At CHBC, we do believe in education that helps build Canada's future. What role do you think students today that will play in shaping tomorrow, like shaping the future of Canada?
That's a big question. I think it's really important. I'll go back to this Mo guy that I like.
Yes.
When you have a child and you have two parents with this child, you teach your child values and the way you want them to grow up in the world to be a good person. If you have bad parents and you teach this child to be a horrific person, that's what the child will learn.
That's correct.
AI is in its infancy. Even though it's been around a long time, it's in its infancy. It is really important for young people, especially, but all people, to teach AI its values and core beliefs so that way it becomes a good tool, not a bad tool. Just like the internet, there's good and bad. AI is going to have good and bad, but the more we teach it values and the more we stay human. A lot of people are going, and I truly believe the technology will empower a lot of companies, but at the end of the day, we still need good human beings in front of the technology doing the good stuff. And so finding your niche means you got to go do research and figure out what you're going to be. You're going, I want to be a lawyer. Great. Research what lawyers are going to look like in the next 5 years. Have a conversation with Claude. Talk to it for a while, then go, give me the pros and cons. What's it look like? And then figure out whether or not you can do that and it's going to be viable enough to keep you going. But always keep in mind that you want to do this from a place of being authentic, good values, that type of stuff. Because I think that's going to be a critical thing as we go through this adjustment. It's going to get bumpy. And while it gets bumpy, good people are going to be needed.
That's correct.
If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Kind of
Yeah.
like it's kind of like one of those movies, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you whoa, the like
Yeah.
Terminators and everything like that, those
Yeah.
type of movies.
We
But
want
like
the good guys to
you want the
win.
good guys to win. You always
Yeah.
want someone in there to be controlling the things, but in a good
Yeah.
manner way,
100%.
right?
100%.
Last question.
Sure.
And finally, what does Made in Canada mean to you?
Ooh. So I'm a very proud Canadian.
Yes.
I truly believe Canadians have amazing gifts. And I love the fact that I'll have people reach out and say, look, I think this person is the right person for you to talk to. Let me introduce them. There's no benefit to the person introducing me to another wonderful person. There's no benefit, but yet they choose to do that.
Yes.
I think that's the core of Canada and Calgary, that we will help each other out. Our downside is that we're too slow to move and we're not assertive enough. And I think that's got to change some, because with the geopolitical world we're in, we need to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Brenda, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story. And to everyone that's listening to Made in Canada, hope this conversation inspired you. Be sure to follow and share and join us in the future conversations with Canadians who are making a huge impact across our country. One thing, keep learning, keep growing, keep building the future, and together keep building Canada's future. One career, one student, and one story at a time.